Hey everyone, let's make a wreath for Halloween. This is a wreath kit available inside our shop. I'm going to review what the kit comes with, our measurements, and then we'll get into it. So if you've watched me do this before, you can kind of move along with us. Your kit comes with your 6x12 wooden sign, your 14-inch pancake wreath frame, a full roll of mesh, which I've already pre-cut, so this is what's left, two zip tie mounts, which I'm going to show you. If you don't have a staple gun, you will use the zip tie mounts. If you have a staple gun, I'm going to encourage you to use your staple gun. It comes with ribbons for your bow. This is how I know it's for the bow. Number one, if you go to the listing, the Etsy description listing, it will say it'll describe the ribbons. It'll say what it's for the tails, for the bows. It'll tell you exactly. So if you ever have a question, it's there, unless it's a mystery kit. If it's a mystery kit, or if you can't get back to the listing or whatever the case is, this is how you tell. Our bow, all of our ribbon comes like this, kind of folded, coiled, just like this. It's all wired, so when you unfold it, you see how it's like kinked there? But when you unfold it and smooth it out, it's just perfect, all right? Because it's wired. So the way you know what's for the bow is it will have 1, 2, 3, 4, or sometimes even 5 strips, okay? Typically, it's 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Typically, it's 4. Depending on the size of the sign, it could be 5. Sometimes I add in just a little bit extra, and there might be 1 or 2 strips. But here's how I know. It's not 12, okay? These come folded. I've already pre-cut these, and they're ready to go. But they come folded just like these do, and you'll be able to count 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? That's how I know this is for the tails and not for the bow. Do not cut the ribbons for the bow, and you can cut the ribbons for the tails, okay? So let's pretend for just 1 second. Let's pretend that this is the ribbon for the tail. It's not, but let's pretend. All you have to do, I have a pretty good scissors, and it cuts through a lot of ribbons at the same time. All I have to do, once I've indicated I've counted 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, okay? All I have to do is put my scissors right up in there and cut. Okay, and then go to the other side and do the same thing. Put it right in the center and cut. These are folded. You want to make sure first. These are folded in 14-inch strips. I use a 14-inch board to fold them. So you don't have to, measure, cut 14 inches, measure, cut 14 inches, measure 14. You don't have to do that. That's how I cut them. I cut them all together, snip it. Now, will they all end up being exactly 14 inches? No, they'll be a little bit bigger than 14 inches just because of the way it was coiled. However, it's not worth the time to go and measure perfectly. I promise you can look through all of my previous wreaths. None of them are cut individually at 14 inches, and you can't tell. Okay, save yourself some time. So it comes with your ribbons for the bow. We're going to be a little bit different here with all 1.5 inch. All right. And then, of course, the 2.5 inch are both for your ribbon tails. I went with the pumpkins and the plaid. Y'all know, if you follow me at all, you know I'm obsessed with the plaid. It's my favorite pattern. If I can insert it into a design, I do. Okay. And they sell, so I know everyone else likes plaid too, right? I cut them on, put my favorite on the top, and I folded it to find the center, and I just left it like that so that when we're ready to get going, it's easy to move forward. Okay, one more thing I did for all the ribbon tails, okay, both ribbons, both sides, I folded the ribbon, and I did this again. I did this in I took 6 ribbons at a time, folded them all together, took my scissors, cut on the fold up towards the edge to leave me with this really pretty side, okay? Cut on the fold up toward the edge, and you'll get this really pretty V look. We call it a dovetail, all right? So those are all ready for us. The ribbon's all ready. And it comes with your pipe cleaners that you'll need for the frame, the bow, and the sign. Okay, so we're all up to date. So our kits almost always come with a video. Almost always come with a video. And if the video isn't ready by the time you get your package, you can always go back to the description to see which ribbons are for what, or you can count to know which ribbons are for what. And you can always visit any one of our other kit videos for the pancake wreath, because all of our kits, unless otherwise indicated, all of our kits follow the pancake wreath recipe. All right, let's get started. I'm going to set this aside. I don't need it. It's what's left. We are going to prep our sign first. Yes, I'm wearing my robe. It is freezing in the basement, and I sometimes wear my robe. Okay. All right, so I love this sign. If you know anything about me, follow me at all, it's the big letters. It's the big word on the sign. Some of the signs are so cute and they have these little signs, these little words. And I love those too. But my favorite are the signs that have nice, big, clear words that you can, depending on how far your house sits back from the drive, from the road, you can clearly see what that probably says, right? This you can definitely see. Nice, big, boo, adorable. All right. Your zip tie mounts are intended for you to peel, let's flip it over, for you to peel off the back, okay? Peel off the back. If you have super glue, add a little bit of super glue to the back and stick it right on, okay? Stick it right there, right? Both sides. Okay, I'm going to put this back on and we're going to pretend that we did that. Once it's on, take your cute little glue gun. Now this is for added protection for you or for your customer, wherever this wreath is going. I stopped using these, and I'm going to show you how I do it. I stopped using these because I've had a couple fall off. It's random. It's few and far between, but it does happen. So after a couple of that happening, then I started taking my glue gun and I just would caulk like the edges and make sure I'm going like over the top of the plastic piece to kind of make sure it's going to stay on there with my hot glue helping me. All right. Then once it's on, you will take your pipe cleaner and push it right through and pull it up. And that's how we'll attach it to the frame. Okay. Like I said, personally, if you have a staple gun, I want you to get that out. I'm going to set these aside. We're going to take this off. Even though you won't see this from behind, I'm still going to take that off. Just because if you wanted to, would be a really great idea. If your wreaths, if you can see the sign from behind, right where you can see the sign, tape or glue, whatever you want, your business card. So they always, if they're looking, if they're like, oh, I want to order from this and I forgot where I bought it from, where I got it from, I got it at the craft show, I got it, I don't know where I got it from. They might look on the wreath to see, and they could maybe see your card, bringing them back to their Etsy shop. Bonus points if you even have a little QR code that all they have to do is scan and bring them right there. Make it easy for them, right? All right. My staples are 1/4 of an inch. My sign isn't quite 1/4 of an inch. So I just take what I have, which is the back. This is the back of a ribbon spool, a 50-yard spool. I keep them. Yep, I really do keep them. I keep a whole stack of them, right? And I'm going to snip off 2 pieces. And we're going to put it right on both sides. Okay. And I'm even going to keep that. I keep everything. Okay. And I'm going to take our pipe cleaner and right in the center so that I have equal, mostly equal, doesn't have to be perfect, mostly equal parts on both sides to wrap around the frame. And then I'm just going to push nice and tight. That one didn't go in too good. Push nice and tight. That one went in better. I think I'm going to do 3 third time's a charm for this one. they all didn't go in really good. That's fine. Oh, we can't get it out, so it's good. All right, then twist it just like you would for the zip tie mount. Okay. Push. Push. Now I'm going to set our sign aside because that's all we need for that. And that way I can also put this away. Don't need that anymore. Then we're going to take our pipe cleaners. Okay. And our frame has holes and notches exactly where your pipe cleaners have to go. You don't have to count. You don't have to measure. You don't have to anything. There's exactly the notch and hole combination. Now you will see, you see these other holes? There's no notch there. There's no notch there. So I don't need a pipe cleaner there. That's just extra. So if I have the wreath all done and I'm getting ready to add my sign or my bow, let's just say, and let's say my bow is like really big and I don't have a lot of pipe cleaner left to use, I could, as long as it lines up here, I could find one little piece and tie it in that way. Okay, so it's just extra to help you if you're adding things and you need extra holes, and these are already taken. It's just extra to help, all right? Nothing that you have to worry about when you're making your wreath. All right, easy breezy, lemon squeezy. We're gonna go right through the hole, out to the notch, and twist near the outside. You see how it's like right near the notch? Not near the hole, not in the middle, but near the notch. Not inside the notch, but on the wood. Now I'm gonna do that the same on the inside, so it's, again, close to the notch. And that's going to help us create layers as we go around so that when you have both layers of your mesh and ribbons on, you can see the outer layer. All right. So this is important little detail. It is an important little detail that you want to make sure you do. I'm going to go all the way around. And actually, I just noticed I don't have enough. So I'm going to make sure I have one more for my bow. And I'm going to take any random color to put on the outside. Just because it doesn't matter. These could have been red. They could have been yellow. You're not going to see them in the end. At least that's the idea. You don't want to see them in the end. So it doesn't matter to me what color it is. All right. Okay, let's even more over there. Got our pipe cleaners, we're all ready. Okay, all right, we're gonna take our mesh. I cut our mesh 20 inches. So the ribbon tails are 14 inches, mesh is 20 inches. Okay, and I'm gonna make it so that the curl side is down. The curl side is down. Yes, there's a reason for it. Curl side is down. And I'm gonna scrunch right up the center as best I can. So I'm not folding it. I'm not pleating it. I'm holding my thumbs as like a wall and I'm pushing it forward. I'm using my fingertips, not my nails, but my fingertips to push so that I end up with a small little spot in the middle. And again, I'm keeping that curl side down. Okay. I'm going to go in the outside pipe cleaners first. Nice and tight. Crisscross, twist, twist. Now, if I put it in upside down with the curl side up, those curls would be coming up. I'll want to make sure that I can overlap this and keep it kind of nice and flat for this design. So it'll be really pretty. You can see the mesh, all the ribbons, the sign, the bow, all the things. But I want it to be nice and round and flat so that it fits perfectly between your main door and your storm door. Okay? So we're going to keep doing that all the way around. Again, they're all 20 inches. I'm just going to push nice and easy. Now I've been doing this for many years and hundreds and thousands probably. So it is a little easy for me. However, if this is your first time, playing with mesh, before you get going, if you're like, uh-oh, this isn't working for me, cut another piece. Cut another piece, okay? And practice with one of these pieces. By the way, when I cut this, I took the first 6 cuts, 20 inches, 20 inches, 20 inches, 20 inches, 6 times, and I set those aside. That's what's going in the outside pipe cleaners. Then the next 6 will go on the inside. The reason for that is, if you look at the difference here, you see how fluffed out that is? That was one of the first 6, and this is one of the second 6. You see the difference there? You see how this is more expandable, expands already by itself? I want these outside to expand all by itself. Now, easier for you, I could make these work on the outside no problem. And as you get going, you'll be able to do that too. But I like to use the ones, if possible, that expand already by itself so that I don't have any trouble having it almost touch here, right? Also, as you get going, mesh phrase, all mesh phrase, all of it. This is a really good mesh actually, and I'm noticing it does fray a little more than normal. This has a jute going through it, so it's a little softer. It's still nice and sturdy with that plastic mesh going through, but it's a good quality material, but it frays. It just does. Don't worry. Trust this process. Overlap, overlap. You're going to have a layer of ribbon on top. You're going to have a layer of ribbon. You're going to have another layer of mesh and ribbon. On top of that, you'll have your sign and your bow. It's going to be fine. All right, it's going to be fine. Just trust the process. Also, after you get this layer done, you might be like, this Melissa girl's crazy because I can still see the frame loud and clear. And although this is our patent pending wreath frame, and I love it very much, and I'm extremely fond of it because it is I am a co-inventor on the frame, myself and Damon from Deco Exchange. We are co-inventors, so I love the frame. But I'm sure you and your customer do not want to see it. Just trust the process, okay? Trust the process. For this exact recipe, if you're following what I'm doing, you won't see it. Okay? All right. One last one for the outside. Last one for the outside. Straight down. Crisscross, twist, twist. Okay, perfect. All done. Perfect, perfect. Then I'm going to take our ribbons that are already, see how that works out, already ready for me. My favorite, or the cuter one, is on the top. And you know I love the plaid, but I of course want to see the pumpkins a little bit more. I line them up as best as I can. Now, cutting them all together at one time means that some of them will be longer and shorter. It's fine. Here's what I do. If I line this up exactly, and if I turn it over, you'll see the plaid is a little shorter. You can see that clear as day, right? You can see. All I do is just put it so that it is even on both sides. Just a little tiny bit on both sides. It's fine. Fold it so I find the center. Unfold. Scrunch up the center, just like I did the mesh. Everything comes out facing towards me, everything out towards me. Right down in the pipe cleaner, crisscross, twist, 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 twist 6 or 7 times, and then we'll move on to the next one. We'll come back and fluff that, okay? The only thing is, I want to make sure, you see how the pumpkins on this side are upside down? So I want to make sure every time I put them in, and there's no way of getting around it unless you literally cut. And no, don't do that. It's going to be fine. Even for me, who is like crazy OCD. All right. So I'm just going to make sure that those pumpkins are going upside down on the same side all the way around. And again, you'll notice that even if I had one less pipe cleaner there, you won't notice at the end. It's going to be just fine. Scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. Face out towards me. Twist, 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 nice and tight. So I want it nice and tight because when I do come back to fluff them, I'm going to really pull on it. I'm going to pull and make sure that it does what I want it to do and goes where I want it to go, right? So as long as this is nice and tight, I can feel secure that it's not going to pull out of there by accident, right? Pull 6 or 7 times, nice and tight. And then my time-saving tip, I'm going to pick up my wire cutter once for the outside of the ring and once for the inside. Now, you've heard me say this before, maybe you haven't if this is your first time, but as a wreath maker and you're making several at a time, I want to make sure that I can cut time wherever I can. I think I'm done with my robe now. It's a little hot. And so I just pick that up. Instead of picking it up every single one, doing every single one, I just pick it up all at once and do it all at once. Okay. Now I just talked through that. Sorry, let me get you this. I'll tell you perfectly what we're going to do here. In the end, I want them to sit just like that. Plaid, pumpkin, plaid, pumpkin. Same all the way around. Plaid, pumpkin, plaid, pumpkin, plaid, pumpkin, all the way. Number 2, I'm going to really make sure I'm going to push this down and push it down. I'm going to lift up and down and side to side. Extremely important. That's a small detail, but an important one. Lift it up and down, side to side. That way it stays the way I want it to. And as I move things around and I'm still creating it, they'll shift and they'll move and they'll move. But when I come back to put them in place at the very end, they'll stay where I want them to stay. All right. So we're going to mess with the ribbons and we're going to put them in place right now. And then we won't touch them until the very, very end. Even if they start, misbehaving and going back to their original state, we'll fix it all at the end. Again, a time saving, right? Time saving. Okay. All right. So now I have my pipe cleaners ready for me. They're ready to come right in the top. I just want to make myself a note. Okay, make myself a note. All right, now I'm going to come with those pieces that are a little smaller, right? They're a little smaller. And I'm going to scrunch. Scrunch, 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 all the way up. Same thing. Go straight down. I'm not moving any mesh out of the way. I'm not moving any ribbons out of the way. I'm going straight down. Now notice how you can see the frame. I can see it in the video. Notice how you can still see the frame right now. Also notice that the ribbons on the outside barely touch, okay? These ribbons that I'm putting in now are going to completely overlap each other, giving 2 more layers to hide the frame. Scrunch all the way up, right on top. So this one's going to completely overlap that one. Completely overlap. So now if you look right here, now we haven't even added the ribbon tails. We haven't added the sign. We haven't added the bow. But if you look right here, you can't see it at all, right? Trust the process. I'm not saying you have to trust me completely, but trust the process. So my time-saving tips so far are pre-cut all your mesh. Have it ready for you. You don't have to stop in the middle, cut more. You know that you need 12 pieces at 20 inches long. Pre-cut them all. Get them going. Pre-cut your ribbons before you even start, right? Pre-cut them. Match them up before you even start. Have them completely ready for you to move along. You can do all of that. If you're like me, you know, I try to get work in whenever I can, right? Sometimes it might be even a matter of uploading videos when the kids are eating breakfast, or, you know, when they're eating breakfast, we all eat together. When they are getting dressed for school or whatever the case is, I take all those little moments and try to add them together to, you know, get work done. Right? So if you can prep, you know, cut after dinner, before dinner. I'm not sure where your space is. I can't, because, I mean, I can technically, but, you know, when the kids are home and awake, I try to be home and awake upstairs with them. Not try to be, I am. Once in a great while on the weekend, like during the day on the weekend, once in a great while, if the kids are outside playing and Aaron's out doing the lawn or something, then I'll come in, depending on what's going on outside, I'll come in and prep, right? Then I'm ready. Then when I have time to actually make the whole thing, I just move along. Everything is overlapped. Now, you can't see the frame at all. We still haven't added the ribbons, which we're going to do. Same thing, same pattern, upside down on the right. Now, not all mesh is created equal. Not all mesh is created equal. So, with this mesh, you might get to this stage and you might be like, yeah, I definitely cannot see the frame even before I put on the ribbons. And then if you're using border mesh, you might be like, uh-oh, I can still see that frame. What's going on? I promise. Add your ribbon tails, add your sign. Make sure your sign and your bow are covering the center, right? Make sure they're covering the center. For example, this width here is about 10 inches, all right? If you have an 8-inch sign and you go to put that in the center, what do you think is going to happen? The pipe cleaners are going to be exposed. You're going to have space along the outside. Now, I know, to each his own, however you want to do it. However you want to do it. But it looks better if your sign at least covers your pipe cleaners. Okay? And for that, you want a 12-inch round. If you're not adding a bow, you want a 12-inch round. It'll cover the entire center. The 10-inch will work, and you can position the 10-inch round so that it is, you know, up a little bit, and you can add a bow to cover the rest. But an 8-inch right here in the center is going to look incomplete. I love you with all my heart, and I want you to succeed. I'm just telling you my opinion. Right? So again, picking up my wire cutter once, saving time. I'm not going back to fix all my ribbons. Saving time. Right? As the outside ribbons shift, I'm not going back to fix them. Actually, these ones are doing pretty good this time. Usually they're all over the place. You're going to do it at the end anyways. So save your time throughout. Save your time. All right. So what I am doing here is I am pushing that pipe cleaner down in towards the center. I used to hide it and kind of tuck it under the ribbon, but honestly, everything covers it. So I don't take the time to do that, saving time. Just push it down, but I'm also pushing it kind of in, right? That helps, again, this illusion out here with the layers. Okay. So we're cutting everything ahead of time. We're prepping. We're picking up our wire cutters twice total instead of 12. Perfect. Okay, there we go. And I put in that outer layer, another reason, another time saver. I put in that outer layer and then the top completely, outer mesh, outer ribbon, top mesh, top ribbon, because look what would happen if I put all the ribbons on first, or if I put the mesh on first and then went to go fix these. Look at what's happening. I'm like messing with the top, and then I have to push it all back down again. Just save yourself some time, right? All right. I know that our sign has to cover our pipe cleaners as many as possible. A 6 by 12 is my favorite size, and it covers 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. If you think you're going to need assistance with putting these pipe cleaners in, you want to flip it over and see where your extra pieces are. Okay. That would be for the sign. This would be for the bow if I need it. Right? So if I can't get the whole thing around, the pipe cleaners around the whole frame, I'd be looking for these little, you see what's left? Okay. All right. So I'm going for 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to set that there. Perfect. And then I'm going to make our bow. Y'all, I don't know when you're watching this, but last night and, well, yesterday and last night, I worked my booty boot off, cleaning and all these things. And so I feel like I'm in a brand new space right now. I mean, there's still stuff everywhere, but I feel like I'm in a brand new space. All right, let's see what we're going to do. I want this one on the top. I brought in let's talk about the ribbons for a second. So you see here, the sign was bright, black and white and orange. No burlap or neutral. But I opened the door for me to use that in the bow by using this ribbon in the tails, right? Neutral goes with everything. The burlap color, I call it burlap color. You can call it beige, you can call it neutral, you can call it tan, you can call it whatever you want. I call it burlap color, which I'm pretty sure that's not technically the name of it. But this allows me to bring it into my bow, right? And I did not want to take away from the boo, the patterned ribbons in the tails, the plaid. I just love that combination so much. But of course, we have a spot that we need a bow for. So we kind of have to add a bow. Even, here's what I'm also saying. Don't put it in the center like this, because then you still have top and bottom. I mean, you could put 2 small bows up there, right? You could if you really want. It looks better, in my opinion, if we're going to put one bigger bow down here. All right, take one drink. All these ribbons are the same length. I'm going to start with the polka dot first. Start with the polka dot first. Am I going to start with the polka dot first? I'm going to start with the polka dot first. Also, this This ribbon here is very delicate, but the sides of this ribbon, this is probably one of my favorite. You know, I don't like solids. Okay, I'm not, if I have a choice, I'm not going to put a solid in. But if a solid has either like the embossed ribbon that has like the print even though it's all the same color, or if it has this really cool edge, or like the lace edge ribbon that's solid, those I can do. Because to me, it still has a pattern, it still has something to it. And this is, you know, to me, even though it's a solid, it's doing what the solid I want it to do. Like the solid, the job of a solid, it still has a texture, so I love it. All right, here we go. We're gonna do our, now also again, if you get other kits, this is very similar every single time. It's pretty much the same. The width of the ribbons might vary, but it's pretty much the same. So I'm gonna start with a 7-inch tail and a 6-inch loop. 7-inch tail, 6-inch loop. Okay, just like that. Now, everybody uses the Easy Bow Maker, you know, maybe different than me. I'm going to use it this way. I like making them in my hand. So I just made one big loop, set with 6 inches, pinch, pull it apart, twist, make my next loop, eyeball it, make sure it's about 6 inches. It matches the other side. Take my finger off, pinch the whole thing, twist, up, measure, make sure it's about the same, pinch, and twist. Okay, all the ribbons are the same size, and so this is, if you have, I can't remember how long they are, but they're all the same length, all 4 ribbons. So you'll see this part start to get longer because now every layer I do is going to be a little shorter. Okay, so I started with 7 inches and 6 inches, and this is what's left over. I'll cut that at the end. But one thing I want you to notice is I'm putting in every layer, I'll alternate the side where the 2 loops are. Okay, I'll alternate the side where the 2 loops are. And then technically this will be the bottom of my bow because it's going to be the longest part of my bow, and I want that coming off the edge of the wreath. That makes sense? Okay. All right, next we're going to go with that orange. It's a thinner ribbon, but it is, again, I just love it so much. And again, like I said in the beginning, you see how it's, it was folded, so it's kinked. You see? All I'm going to do is just, boom, straight. Perfect. Okay? So don't worry about that when you see like, oh no, it's fine. All the ribbons are like that. And if you are, which I noticed it over here, one of these ribbons was wrinkly. One of these top ribbons was wrinkly. Now I can't see it. I have no idea where it went. Did you notice that when I was making it? And I was like, oh, here. Actually, I wanted to make sure that that ends up underneath the bow. You see how that's wrinkly there? Now, a couple things. One, if one piece is wrinkly, I might do exactly what I'm doing right now. Okay, I'm going to be sneaky. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to get out my hair straightener and iron it straight. I'm just going to put it underneath the bow. It'll be fine. Or if I get to the end of the roll and it's still like this, I just use an actual hair straightener that I actually used for a long time. I don't straighten my hair anymore, but that I used for a long time. And it's a ceramic one. I don't know if that makes any difference. And I just iron it. Instead of getting out my iron, I just run it right through. By the way, so far I've tried it, and you better be careful and make your own decisions and use your best judgment. But I've used it on ribbon that has glitter. I've used it on ribbon that has words or patterns like this, and it has been completely fine. Like, it hasn't shriveled it. It hasn't whatever. Use your best judgment so that you don't ruin it and then blame me. But you get what I'm saying, right? All right. So I'm going to keep going with my cutie pie ribbon here. Same thing. I'm going to go a little bit shorter than 7 inches, a little bit shorter than 6 inches. Actually, what I do is this. I put my finger here where the pole is, and I make sure I have 1 finger length longer. 1 finger length. That's all. That's all you need. Pinch, pull apart, twist, loop, pinch, twist, loop, pinch, and twist. Now I'm going to make sure again that my 2 loops are going opposite sides, right? Going opposite sides. Now, if you need to make a bow in your hand, I can do it, but my hands don't like me when I do it. I have super bad carpal tunnel, which is the reason why I make bows the way I do. Okay, so I'm going to cut, I'm going to fold it, just like here, fold it, fold, cut on the fold up towards the edge. Okay, pretty cute, right? Then I'm going to keep going. So put the polka dots towards the bottom, put that bright orange towards the bottom. So I have some patterns going up on the top so that it's not this bright orange right on the top, right on the very top. So I'm going to go with a stripe. Now, even though this isn't stark white, it goes very well with our pumpkins here. Okay. So same thing, I'm going to go here. Now we're about 6.5 inches. Everything is just a little smaller. A little. Not a lot, a little. Pinch, twist, loop. And you're probably like, well, how do you know what size to make the bottom? Well, I know because I've been making it a bajillion times. And I know about the same size. In fact, I make it so much that even when I'm making a random bow, it just automatically starts at that size. And because I just can eyeball it and know. But it started because I was measuring the space we had open, right? The space we had open and saying, uh-oh, well, this is not uh-oh, but this is how much space we have. This is how much I want to cover. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Okay. All right. So for the last one, I'm going to put the plaid on the top to kind of bring it back in and not make it so bright, I guess. I don't know. You can do this any order you want. It's just what I'm doing. But for the last one, I have 1 extra loop that I'm going to add. Okay. So a little bit. So actually you can say I'm going a little bit shorter than this. Or you can say I'm going to put it a little bit longer than the last loop. That's all. And this loop is about 2.5 inches or 3. Okay. Pinch. Now I'm still not going to count that loop, but I'm still going to have 3 loops. Twist, loop, pinch, twist, loop, pinch, twist, loop, pinch, and twist. 2 loops are over here. That's all I'm paying attention to. 2 loops are over here. So my next 2 loops, same length, are going to be over here. Notice I have a tail on both sides, also completely okay. That'll balance really nicely. Okay, put my tail over there. On the other side of so you see my layers are just going in between the last layer. Right? In between the last layer. And then that one will come straight up. This one I'll cut. Perfection. Now, I'm going to bring that straight up. So, carpal tunnel has crippled me at one point. I couldn't even work at all for a little over a week. This tool, even though I don't use it the way it's intended, and you can see other videos where I teach you the way I teach my students in person, because I do in-person classes, and I teach you the way it's supposed to be, right? I personally like making the layers in my hand and putting them in there just like that. I personally feel really awkward when I'm using it the way it's supposed to, but I watch other folks use it flawlessly the way it's intended. I teach my in-person people the way it's supposed to because it's the easiest that way. And I'm teaching, 10, 15, 25 people at once, right? So I'm going to lift this right off of there. Now, if you have a zip tie, you can add a zip tie for extra security. It doesn't come with the kit. I'm just going to use my pipe cleaner and go right around the top to the back. Nice and tight. So the tighter this is, you know, the perkier it can get, the more you have control over where you're putting things. And then from here, I'm just going to pull this straight up. Remember, keeping in mind that this layer with the tails are going to come down, right? I got to cut that one. That one's going to be a little bit shorter too. But if I can put this kind of back in place the way I intend for it to go before I put it in there, fluff it as best I can. That's a plus too. Okay, so you can say I'm going to cut that one. I'm going to cut a couple of them once they're in. Now I know my sign's not attached yet, so I'm going to attach the sign and the bow. Look how perfect it's going to be. I should have said this at the very beginning. This ribbon catches on everything. 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 So make sure you have this all done so you can put it right in and not have to mess with it. Okay? Put it right in and not have to mess with it, because those will, and then if it does catch, it's fine, but cut, don't pull. Cut, don't pull. All right, let's get these in and attached. So I'm going to go right through the layers of mesh, right through the layers. I'm not moving mesh out of the way. I might have to move ribbon out of the way just because simply you can't go through the ribbon, but I'm not moving mesh out of the way. And then I'll put the ribbon back where I found it in just a minute. But I have my fingers between the frame and the bottom layer of mesh, kind of waiting for that to poke through, right? And then I'm going to make sure I get back in place. Okay, get back in place. And then I'll twist this over and show you the back in just a second. I'll show you where I'm going with it. Okay. All right, so we're going to go on the other side and get it into position. Make sure it's not going to miss our pipe cleaners. Go right in between, go right through the mesh. This is usually the hardest part because your pipe cleaner, this is why I use a wire when it's not a kit. I use a wire. Your pipe cleaner is technically two little tiny wires wound together, and it never fails. It always catches on the mesh. So like that, those two little wires will split and catch on one of those little tiny fibers, and then it, you know, gets caught. So, all right, going right on the side, and I can flip it over and be flat because there's no bow there. And I'm going to tuck this underneath so it's still nice and smooth back here. Right? That way it's nice and tight, secure, it's not coming off. Make sure that's good. All right, now everything is where it needs to be. Okay, again, haven't played with my ribbons yet. And I'm going to come right in, making sure my longest tails are on the outside. And I'm going to make sure, kind of going right in there. I know right where it's going to go. It's going to go right between those two, pieces here. It's going to, the pipe cleaner, just like the sign, it's going to go right through here. Okay. Again, hardest part, getting it all the way through. Get my chunky little fingers up underneath there. Feeling for it, since I can't see it, feeling for it. Pull it right in. Same thing. Nice and tight. Twist, 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 twist. Hide it underneath. Nice and tight. Okay, Then, I'm going to stand up so I can see. Fluff my bow in all the pieces and all the spots it's got to go. That still feels a little bit long on this side. So let's cut this. Let's cut that a little bit short. There we go. Perfect. This a little bit long. Darling. Okay, perfect. Then we're going to go to all those little tails. This feels a little bit long too. All those little tails, and make sure we put them right back where we want them to be. Now, if you're making wreaths and selling them and shipping, obviously these will shift. It's not going to look exactly perfect when it shows up, although you want to do your best. But in the picture that you take, you want it to be exactly how you intend it to look, right? They're not metal. They won't. These ribbon tails aren't metal. They will move, especially when it's on their door, and especially if they're using that door, it'll go in and out. You know, they'll move. But you want it to look as best, and its best. What do you say? You put your best foot forward when you're taking pictures, right? So that they're all perfect. And then we have a beautiful, super cute Halloween. The bow goes a little bit over the sign, which I love. If you know, I love to make the sign feel welcome and make it part of the design, right? This is a perfect wreath. Let me zoom you out so you can see the whole thing at once. And I'll put it on the side so it looks nice and full. Right? Looks nice and full. Beautiful bow. And nice and thin to go between the door, main door, storm door. Right? But from the face looks really full. Beautiful blend there. Love the pattern with the plaid. Plaid, pumpkin, plaid, pumpkin, plaid, pumpkin. Just looks so great. Same on the outside. Plaid, pumpkin, plaid, pumpkin. We went the same thing. Looks absolutely perfect. Thank you very much. If you purchased this as a kit, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. If you haven't purchased a kit, or if you're looking for kits we have available, if you want to know more about us, if you're looking for our directory, our phone number, or how to get on our email list to get updates and be first dibs on the kits and all those things, the learnfrommelissa.com is our directory. It'll tell you when we have in-person classes, virtual classes, all of our social medias. It's just a great thing to just remember all the time. Learnfrommelissa.com. It is in the description of this video. I appreciate you for watching. I hope you are subscribed, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye, y'all.